Welcome to Unit 1. In this unit, we're going to learn what econometrics is. We're also going to see some examples, and we're going to start looking into the basics of regression analysis. This Unit 1 corresponds with Chapter 1 from your textbook. In the unit, we're going to know what econometrics is. We have already hinted at what it might mean. It basically means economic measurement, or rather, the application of statistical tools to economic data. We're going to see that econometrics is comprised of several things. For one, economic theory. We need to know what we want to measure, and we also want to know whether there's a theory behind what we want to measure. We're also going to use statistics. Since econometrics is the application of statistical tools to economic data, we're going to have to review the basics of what statistics is, in terms of calculated means, standard deviations, variances, but also try to conduct some statistical inference. It also has math. We're not going to delve into great detail with the math, but we have to be able to understand logarithms, to be able to understand partial derivatives, and to be able to input some numbers into an equation and get numbers out. Econometrics also has to do with observation and data collection. We're going to use econometrics for a lot of things. We're going to use it to validate an economic theory. We know that if the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases. We might be able to use econometrics to test whether that actually happens in real life or not. We're also going to be able to quantify new economic relationships. What is the likelihood that a percentage of the population will find a job within the next 5 years? We're also going to be able to create some forecasts or predictions. So here's an example of a vague economic equation. This could be the equation for demand, or it could be the equation for supply. In this case, it seems to be an equation for demand since we have disposable income here. So notice that this equation doesn't tell me anything. It tells me that the quantity demanded might be related to the price of the good, the price of a substitute good, that is the PS, and the income of the individual, disposable income. That's what the YD is. We're going to be able to use econometrics to quantify specific values for this equation, like this. This tells me that there's a negative relationship between price and quantity. It also tells me of what magnitude. It tells me there's a positive relationship between the price of a substitute and the quantity demanded. And it tells me that there's a positive relationship between income and quantity demanded. So I'm talking about a normal good here. We're also going to look at what regression analysis is. Regression analysis deals with the questions of how variables are related, and it also answers questions of how much, what is the strength of the relationship. Regression analysis, in a nutshell, attempts to explain the movement in one variable as a function of the movement in other variables. For instance, what explains the price of a house? What explains the price of a car? What explains the amount of money that individuals make? And we're going to quantify this into some kind of equations. In this case, this is an example of a linear equation where I have a dependent variable here that is trying to be explained by this little model here and the independent variable here. Concrete examples. For instance, this is a wage equation where I'm trying to explain the amount of money that an individual makes based on several variables, including the years of experience at work, the level of education of the individual, and the gender of the individual. I might be using this model to say whether there's discrimination or not in the workplace. Or this example. This is an equation for the price of a house as a function of the size of the house. If I can actually come up with a model that explains how price and size are related, I might also be able to graph it and to make predictions about future home prices and future home purchases that I might make. So we're going to have a lot of fun in this chapter. I encourage you to read the entire chapter before you attempt the lecture notes and the questions, and I'll see you in the next unit.